In this session, let's try to replace footer component according to this tutorial. So modify the footer component. This tutorial provides the steps for modifying Venia's footer component by adding a link to the existing content. By the end of this tutorial, you will know how to override different pieces of Venia to add your customizations. Okay. So seems like there are three steps to modifying any default Venia storefront. Identify the component that you want to update and its render chain. Make a copy of target component and the components in its render chain in your project. Update dependencies in your project to use the new copies. Okay. Uh, Previously we created a route, right, and in that we added route by using targetables, or rather, if you recall, we used a local intercept.js which probably implements an interceptor pattern. Now in this we are doing something very different. We are going to copy the components and override them. The steps outlined in this tutorial explain the render chain replacement approach. This is a valid pattern in some situations, but you can make similar customizations with less code using targets and targetables. We will look at this later. But one way to relate these two approaches, one is targets and targetables, and another is this particular pattern where you completely replace the component by copying the whole component in your code base and then changing its registration. This approach can also be seen in Magento backend, where sometimes a particular functionality cannot be extended via using event observer pattern or interceptor pattern, especially private methods. So in those situations, what we tend to do is we take that class, we copy the whole logic that was there in private method, and we change it a little bit, and then we use dependency injection to replace the original class with our custom class. So this seems to be a similar approach. Targets and targetables are something we will look at later and how they work. Now identify the target component. The first step is that, and we are going to use React Dev Tools. Okay, so let's open this link and let's see where can I find this. npm install React Dev Tools. Okay. React DevTools is available as extension for Chrome and Firefox. If you have already installed the extension, it should update automatically within the next couple of hours. If you use standalone shell, okay, for native, we don't use shell, so let's go ahead and install this extension in Chrome. Add to Chrome, add extension. Okay, now we have this. Now let's see if you can see this in our dev tools. So I'll close this, open this again, and lighthouse overview, no, and let's see, do I have to enable this? What do I have to do to make this work? Okay, do I have to refresh the website? View page source, no, not really. Just inspect, and let's see if I can do control P to, sorry, not control P, control React loop. Alright, what happened? What do we have to do? Alright, where can I see Chrome and Firefox if you have already installed this, and how do we use this? Do I have to restart my browser? Probably. React developers tool, React developer tools. Now that takes me to a link. Okay, let's close this and let's open this again. The URL should be this. So let's copy this and paste it here, and let's open this. And I still can't see layout. Oh, okay, now I can see this. Okay, component. Alright, so this looks like this is my render tree. It's quite deep, huh? App, checkout context provider, cart context provider, React Redux provider, catalog context provider. This is a mess, at least by the looks of it. Alright, and finally my app. Too many contexts. Header, okay. What else do I have? Routes, footer. This is helmet provider. I don't know. A lot of these. Tree, nav header, navigation. So what are the main components? So we have main, store title. Okay, so we have under context provider, store title, main, mask, navigation and toast container. These seem to be the primary ones that we will probably need. Footer, now by the looks of it, seems like footer would be a part of main component, and this is the component that we want to replace. Or you know what, let's see if we can go further down. How about we just remove this particular column? Is that possible? Newsletter. Okay, so let's say I just want to remove newsletter column. Let's try to do that. Or first let's just try to go through the complete tutorial. In Chrome, the React DevTools is accessed through drop down. Okay, read the React DevTools plugin documentation. Fine, now I can see the render tree we were able to inspect. Identify the render chain. The render chain is the path in the React DOM tree that starts the app or root component and ends at the target component. Okay, these are the components you need to copy into your project to make modification. The render chain is the path in React DOM tree that starts in the app or root component and ends at the target component. Okay, use the React DevTools to navigate the React DOM tree and find the render chain of target component. Ignore React context providers, okay, and consumers because they are often just used as content wrappers. For this tutorial, render chain for the footer content in Vinia storefront is adapter, app, main and footer. Okay, seems like a lot of code copying, but let's see. So we have adapter, so we have main. Let's go back. It says adapter, app, main and footer. Now where's the app? Adapter, app, main. So we are going to ignore providers. Oh, this app. All right, but app seems to be the complete thing. Okay, now what do I do here? Okay, you can verify this by looking at the source for the adapter, main and app components. Main imports the imports and renders the footer component, and app imports the imports and renders the main component. Okay, Root components. Static imported components such as header, footer, and side navigation have render chains that begin in adapter and then app, but content that is specific to a route. But content that is specific to route have render chains that begin at root component. Okay, that was a bouncer. Root components are dynamically loaded components associated with an Adobe Commerce or Magento open source page type or a route. Okay, for example, product listing is a root component because that is dynamically loaded component associated with Magento open source page type or a route. Okay, a list of Vinia's root components can be found in the root component directory in PWA Studio project. Oh, can I find it here? Root component provider. Okay, app container. Okay, root component directory in PWA Studio. Let's see, what does that mean? Okay, so we have shimmer, improve, I don't know what shimmer is, search, product, category, and CMS. Okay, surprising. Let's check out. Okay, shimmer.js, index.js, types, search, index.js, product. Okay, let's come back to this later. Now if your if your project does not already have one, create component directory under your source directory. The directory will hold your project's components. Understood? Okay, so now we are saying we will create 4 components: app, main, footer, and adapter. Okay, now copy components. Make a copy of components in render chain from the node modules directory. Okay, copy adapter component. Okay, copy app component, then copy container, copy main component. Okay, and copy footer component. Now add a link to the footer. Fine. Okay, and make the following modifications to add a link to the footer element. Use the link component to create link to an internal route defined in the add static route tutorial. Okay, connect everything together. Some of the import statements in the copied components use relative paths for dependent components, but these components are not available in your project. Okay, and those are the ones we are going to import from Vinia. Okay, seems like a lot of code copying. Export footer component, update the main import statements, then export main component, then update app import statements. Okay, understood. And then container, and then export app component. Okay, and export adapter. Okay, and import new adapter component. Open your projects. Okay, you just customize the footer component in storefront project. Alright, that seems like something we can do. Let's try to pull this out from our memory. Okay, now to begin with, we already have components directory. We are going to copy components from node modules. Let's search Magento. Then we have Babel preset, page builder, Peregrine, PWA build pack, theme, Vinia, and Vinia UI. Okay, so let's copy this from Vinia UI. Now let's go to lib components, and okay, we have app, then we have adapter, then footer. What else do we have? Adapter, app, footer and main. Okay, we are going to copy 4 directories, collapse this and paste here. Then we are going to fix imports. Of course, we would also fix tests at some point. Main. Now main module.css main. Okay, so let's fix footer first. Let's make our changes in footer.js. I think this is simply for the convention. This seems to be the entry point. Okay, now let's go to footer.js. Okay, and what do we have? Link groups, link elements, item key. Okay, and then we have footer. What was this? Footer dot default props, footer dot prop types. Okay, all right, link groups, footer, and then we have 4 divisions. How many? This is for branding. I think this is the lower row. Let's look at this. Okay, this is the lower row and this is the upper row, and we want to remove newsletter from this. Okay, so let's just do that. That's all that we are going to do right now. Now since we have copied, we also need to fix relative paths. We don't have to fix newsletter. Now we have to fix classify, so let's do that. We are going to use similar paths from where we copied, so let's go ahead and change this. Let's start with logo. Now at Magento, not Peregrine, it would be Vinia UI, Vinia UI, lib, components. I think so. Let's look at it. Node modules, Magento, Vinia UI, lib, components, and then would it be logo? Where is it? Yes. Okay, so we found that. Now let's just fix all of our paths like these. Since we have copied, the relative references will break. Footer.js, not sure if this classify will work in that way. So let's find footer. Okay, I think classify.js is this, so no components directory, just directly into lib, and then we have footer module.css, in which case let's make sure footer, okay, components, footer module.css. okay, similarly for sample data, and then this is correct. We'll have to make similar changes for other files. since footer is rendered, since footer is copied and we have copied other files also. Now footer is rendered in main, so let's make changes in main. We need to change this. Okay, in main, to start with, we need to fix this use style in classify, because this is a similar change here. Okay, now footer will be this seems correct because main and two directories up, sorry, one directory up. Okay, you don't have header, so that needs to be fixed. And components and main module dot css in this is correct. Okay, so we have fixed main. Now let's go ahead and fix app container. Okay, app was again part of components, so let's do that. Now we are doing all of this without taking any help. So components, and I think two directories up means something like this, if I am not wrong. We will verify by looking at node modules. Vinia UI lib and index.module.css, the path is correct, and then you have head that needs to be fixed. Head is also part of components. Main mask also needs to be corrected. Then navigation also can, no, yeah, that's correct. Navigation routes, because we haven't overridden anything. Toast container, yes, and icon, yes. Let's just verify. In components you do have something called icon. Okay, so the imports are fixed in this. Now one last thing that we need to do is fix main. App is fixed, main is fixed, footer is fixed, and now let's fix adapter. Okay, in adapter, are there any static routes, relative paths? No, there aren't. Index.js, no, there isn't. I don't know then why we copied adapter. Adapter.js, I think we copied adapter because this shouldn't be there. It should be relative now. Okay, app. Okay, so now everything seems fixed. Now one last thing, now since we have overridden adapter is the one that needs to change. So let's see. We have drivers, and we have imported adapter here in drivers.js. So here we will make a simple change, which will be, this will be drivers, this will be components, C capital, and relative path. This should change and reflect the way we want. Okay, that sounds correct. Now let's see what happened. I don't know, even we did remove newsletter. So are there any console errors? No. Are there any changes? We changed adapter. Do I have to stop this and restart this again? Yarn watch. Let's verify our changes. So first what we did is we went to footer, we made whatever changes were desired there, which is removing the newsletter from line number 91. Then we went to parent of footer, which is main.js. We changed path to footer. Okay. Then we went to app, and in app we have used main.js. So this is correct too. In app.js, okay, in app.js you go one directory up and then into main. So that's correct too, and main is called by adapter. We changed adapter, which was sitting here, okay, and we imported app. And having said that, we used drivers.js, and drivers.js should refer to components and adapter. Okay, sounds reasonable without any errors. Why? Let's refresh this and see what happens. Oh, it's still there. Let's see what happened to newsletter. Link. No. Okay, let's see footer, but that won't work either. Okay, this should have been removed, but it's not. So what's wrong? We don't have anything in footer. Is this the correct file? Yes, it is. Let's check. What are we missing? Then why is this not being called? Let's go back to tutorial, and it's a copy components, copy adapter. Okay, copy app component we did, then copy main component we did, then add link to the footer. Okay, I don't want to. Then connect everything together. Alright, I did something similar. Export footer component. Did I not? Really? I must have, right? Footer index.js. Yes, we did. Okay. Update main import statements. Okay. Main.js, we did update these. Okay. Export main component. I don't need to because this is already exported. Wait, main.js, this is correct. Use app import statements. Okay. Export app component. Okay. Instead of directly exporting a module wrapped inside, okay, which is fine. Update adapter import statements. Okay. I didn't understand this particular statement. Import app context from this. Import app context from this on. Okay. In our adapter, right? I think then this must be breaking. Because we can't do this. We will need context components app. Okay, now that makes sense. But then why was there no errors when I did something wrong? Okay, should have been. Nothing is happening. Why must that be? Let's see. Export adapter component I did, then import adapter from components adapter in our index.js. Okay, we only made change in driver. What was this before? Okay, this seems right. This seems only correct, right? Default as adapter. Instead of this, we made a change and we said components. Drivers, go into components and C capital. Components, yes, and adapter, yes, that's correct. And in adapter we have index.js, we do, and adapter.js, which we do have, and this is used by index.js. Oh, that's the problem. Then I don't know where drivers are used. I was expecting that the drivers are used to import here. Okay, so this particular step needs to be corrected. Okay, we need to check where drivers are imported. That should fix the problem. Let's see what happens. Nothing happened except, I guess, error. Locale provider, components app locale provider. Okay, in our app .js, in our app.js, where is the locale provider? I think no, not here. We have a problem here. In index we are saying, oh, there is too much wrong here. We only need to say export default app. That's all we really want to export from here. These files are unnecessary, so let's delete them. Okay, same goes for let's inspect. We don't want to do anything in an unexpected fashion. Adapter, oh, this seems fine. Let's see if there are any errors. Yes, there are. Locale provider, you can resolve this in app. Okay, seems like we still have a reference in our app. Magento main, do we have a reference? Let's see. No, not really, not one that I can see. Or maybe we need to look at our adapter. App context provider is app, this is correct. App from app, this is correct too. Okay, then what is referring to? Let's see, what are we missing? I don't know, probably I should just undo my changes in driver. I must have accidentally made something wrong here. Okay, compiled successfully. Errors is not iterable. Okay, what did I do wrong? Okay, this is going to be slightly difficult to figure out. I have no idea what the error is. Mark use app, errors is not iterable. Okay, where all did I make mistakes? Now let's do this. Let's stop this, clear this. Okay, no way to clear. Okay, yarn watch. I want to see if I still get an error, a resolution error. I must not have fixed a path. Let's see if these errors come up. How do we debug these and find out the problems? 80% compile, chunk assets processing, emitting, okay, no errors. Deprecation, headers is deprecated. Yep, no errors whatsoever at all. Okay, but this is a problem. All right, what mistake did we make? Let's look at the entry point again. This is where everything starts. Adapter, and this is that. Okay, and then we have peregrine lib, we have store, okay, react dom, index.css, and then we have adapter origin and that, register. Okay, so our adapter takes origin and store and styles as props. So let's look at our adapter.js. Okay, Apollo client, app context provider, use adapter, Vinia UI lib components app. That is correct. App from app. That doesn't make any sense. I guess it. No, it does. Or should. What was here? It was like this. Okay, and then we have adapter, use adapter props, talon props. Okay, initialize, replace with app skeleton. Okay, children, find Apollo, browser, app context, and children. Okay, I don't know what this means. I really don't know what this means. Okay, somehow I was not supposed to. Okay, but that did not have an effect. If index.js renders, if it calls app, then where is this app used? No, this is actions. This uses adapters. Okay, this is correct. No, but then here in app drivers, no, we'll close drivers, and in adapter.js we can't do app like this. We need to do import app from adapter is one level. Okay, that makes sense. And then I will go to app.js, and now app uses error boundaries. So let's see what all do we have and what have I missed. Use app, okay, at Magento, main, mask, navigation, routes, icon, error icon, online icon. Okay, head provider. Okay, and then what do we have? Main. Look at main.js. And header, footer. This is correct. Let's look at footer itself. footer. Where is the error boundary gone wrong? Where has that gone wrong? Lib components, components footer, default classes. We have no idea. All it says is something isn't iterable. Let's see. What is this? Like, the above error occurred in app component. Okay, toast context provider, root component provider, checkout context provider. Okay, this happened at app level. Okay, app.js. What went wrong? This is correct. This is as you would expect it to be. Use app. Okay. What are we missing? Or have we forgotten to import something important? Okay, so we know for a fact that everything starts here at index.js. We know that adapter is called. This adapter is components adapter. Though is it? Let's just ensure. Okay, components C capital adapter, then we call adapter, and I don't think it's a file resolution problem, because otherwise there would be an issue. Let's go through this tutorial one more time, and this time we'll look at the paths. So what are we copying? We are copying adapter directory, app, component, oh okay, if you look at index.js file for Vinia's app component, okay, we might have made a mistake there. This is what we did. This may be wrong. Yes, it is container. That is wrong. So we have to fix this. Let's go and say copy this. But essentially, yes, we missed something crucial. Okay, now we have this default, and again I think what we have to do is app now let's see what happens. Yep, now it's working, but this is still the same. I mean, this should have gone, but it's still there. Components, and we still have our newsletter component, which I did remove. So in that case, this container, now we don't know what this container is calling, so let's see what are we missing from the tutorial. Container file into your project module, so copy the container.js to, okay, that we did not, we had, but we then deleted it. So node modules, Magento, Vinia UI. Making these mistakes was very important. And then we have app, and then we have container.js, and we are going to copy it into our app and that, and then okay, let's look at these imports. Unhandle error app, this is correct. App container, okay, but then that means we don't need to fix this part. Oh no, we do have to fix this part. Let's take this, and let's go to container index.js. Okay, now it makes sense. Container, and this would take our app, and where is this used? Okay, use error boundary. Okay, now all of that makes sense, except use error boundary. Yes. Now this was in container, so again we should copy paste this. Okay, yeah, now that's gone. Now let's check if, what is this, strict mode checks are run. Okay, I don't know, we'll read this later, but I'll test everything. Oh, that broke. Error boundary, this broke on a different page. Now why did that happen? App container error boundary. The error was app container.js can't resolve use error boundary, but we have already fixed that, right? Yep. Now what happened? App and container exists here. Okay, and let's look at this. Loading chunk vendors failed. Why? Vendors.undefined.js, and why did that happen? I don't know. What happens if I refresh the page? It loads, but it breaks. Okay, do I have to restart the yarn server? Yarn watch, I don't know. Yeah, maybe because I have copied files, changed them, so the paths will be different this time. I mean, the linking has changed from previous path to this path. These new paths did not exist, so I don't know whether it will by default include it in chunks. So let's see. HPM, all right. Okay, now that works. Let's look at fitness improvements. Okay, and does my footer look as expected? Yes, it does. What about my PDP page? Yes, it does. Does add to cart work? Yes, it does. What about my shopping bag? That looks correct. What about my checkout? that looks correct too. All right. So we have essentially seen how to override something. Yes, we have also seen the mistakes you can make. We have to be very careful about linking them correctly, and we have also seen how to when do we need to restart the yarn server. Okay, copy main component, copy footer component, we did that. Add a link, connect everything together. Some of import statements in the copied use relative paths. Okay, but these components are not available in the project. Okay, to update footer import statements, fine. Export app, update adapter import statements, import new adapter. Okay, but I don't think they have mentioned explicitly that you should probably restart your yarn server if, I mean, it's already running. But we have completed this tutorial. We have removed footer component. I think we could try something on our own. We may try to customize something else like search. So in this particular thing, remove was straightforward, but what happens when you want to move that component altogether in a different place? What happens to context is an important question to ask.